Hi everybody, this is Keri at Golden Heart Ranch and I'm excited to bring you this week's art tutorial. This week we are doing canvas flower painting. We are using acrylic paints and we are going to be painting a sunflower. Sunflowers are the flower for Golden Heart Ranch, so I thought this would be a fun one to start with. So this is what we're going to be painting. That's our final product here. As far as materials and what you'll need for today, you're going to need a canvas. Any size will do. I'm using an 8x10 canvas. So I ordered a 10 pack from Michael's with a coupon. I have a bunch of acrylic paints here. So a variety of colors. I used a variety of blues, yellows, orange, red, browns, white, and a black. I do have other colors here, so if you want to get more colorful, add in some pinks and purples, feel free. I've got different size paint brushes, a pencil, a Sharpie, a cup for water, and a tray for paint. You might also want to have some napkins handy for cleanup, maybe even baby wipes in case you get some paint on your clothes. Acrylic does stain the clothes if it sits on the clothes, but if you wash it off real quickly, once it gets on the clothing, it should come out. So I look forward to painting with you. I hope you enjoy this project with me, and let's get painting. All right, so I'm gonna put a small amount of some of the different blues and whites on my tray. And those are the colors that I'm going to use for the background before we paint the flower. Now, I'm going to take one of my larger brushes and dry it off. This one's one of the larger brushes. And I'm gonna go from light to dark. So I'm gonna do the lighter blues on the bottom and the dark one on the top. So I'm gonna do the dark one first. I'm just gonna take some of the dark blue, put it on there nice and thick. The next dark one, just kind of make a line underneath. Don't worry about rinsing off your brush in between because we're going to blend them all anyways. And I'm going to take some more of the whites and I'm going to blend it. And if you want a darker blue, you just take some more of the color that was there and just mix that in there. Blend these together. I don't want that white line there. I want them to blend. So I'm going to go right to that edge of the other blue. Make sure to go to our edges here and fill that in. If the canvas is getting dry and you can't spread any more paint, just grab a little more paint on your brush. Do a little bit of the blue, a little bit of the white. I'm going to blend this in. Fill in these white spots here. Check this edge and make sure. I'm just going to blend that. Fill that in. Go back and forth, nice long strokes, back and forth, filling it in. Make sure you're getting the sides. I do want to make sure I'm getting the top here, so I'm going to turn my canvas. Get some of the blue here. Fingers might get a little dirty, it's okay. I'm going to wash off your hands. If you really don't want to get them dirty, feel free to wear gloves. I don't mind a little paint on my hands. It's a happy blue. It's a happy sky for our flower. Check the edges, make sure they're all painted. Looks nice when you hang it up on the wall when the edges are painted. Okay, so this is the background, the flower. So the background is dry, you can touch it, it dries pretty fast. If you wanted to speed up the drying process and you didn't want to have to wait too long in between, you could take a hair dryer and gently blow dry it on a lighter setting and it will dry it a little bit faster. So the next step is going to be to create our flower. You have two options. You can either freehand it or you can draw it. If you draw with a pencil lightly, the paint should cover it. If you draw heavy with a pencil, you will see it. So just keep that in mind, that you'd want to kind of draw it pretty lightly. So I think I'll use a pencil, and I'm going to do a couple of circles first for the center part of my flower. So I'm doing a double layer of petals. So I've got my sketches done with some pencil. It might be a little hard to see. I'll try to bring it up to the camera. You may or may not be able to see it, but I did draw with some pencil just to kind of give myself an outline. Again, I didn't draw it too heavy because I want the paint to cover it, and if you draw too heavy, the paint won't cover it. Okay, so then the next step is going to be to choose the paint colors that I'm going to use. So I'm going to do the petals of the flowers first. So I'm going to go ahead and take the colors that I want for the petals of my flowers. So I'm going to be using yellow. I'm going to put a good amount of yellow because most of my flowers are going to be yellow. And then I'm going to use orange. And I'm going to leave some room in between the yellow and orange because I'm probably going to blend and kind of make a combination of the two, again, to kind of create a nice fun color there. And I'm going to do a little bit of the vanilla white in case I decide to soften the yellow a bit. Okay. And I do happen to have a lighter yellow over here, so I think I'm going to throw some of that on as well. And at least just kind of outline the flowers a bit, and then I'll work on filling them in. So I'm going to take this one here. I'm just going to give them an outline. I'm doing this, you can kind of see the flower kind of taking shape. So I've got an outline. So now what I'm going to do is work on filling in my petals. I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of a thicker brush. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use this thicker brush here. So this was my outline brush. This was the brush I chose to fill in the petals. And I'm going to start with the lighter color, and I'm just going to kind of fill in and work my way down. And then I'll blend in some of the darker yellow, and then towards the end I'm going to take the orange and kind of fill in the center a little bit. So I'm going to take the lighter yellow, I'm just going to start working on filling this in. And it's okay if it touches the outline, it'll actually look really cool if it touches the outline. So go ahead and let that yellow touch. So because we did the blue background first, you may notice that it doesn't completely cover the blue, and that's okay. We're gonna let this dry, and then we'll go over it a second time, and that will help fill it in. Okay, so there's my first stage of the light yellow there on my flowers. I'm gonna rinse off my brush. So for this next part, I'm going to take some of the darker yellow and then move it to the side over here. And I'm going to mix it with a scoop of the orange and a scoop of the lighter yellow. I'm going to blend those together. Alright, so I've got kind of an orangish color. If you wanted it lighter, you can simply just add more of the yellow. So I think I'm going to add a little bit more. So with that, I'm just going to add some color in here, and I'm just kind of going little short strokes up and down from the center around the circles. And again, we're gonna go over everything a second time, so we'll get a chance to blend in even more color. But I just wanna give it a start here, where it's going. So you can go up into the petals a little bit if you want. You don't have to. The idea is you can start to see the sunflower forming. So I'm gonna let this dry, and I'm gonna rinse out my water, change it to a clear water base again, and I'll be back in a few minutes once this is dry, and we're gonna go over this a second time. Add a little bit of brown into my palette here because I want to see a little bit of dark here in my flower. So I'm gonna mix up some color here. I'm just gonna take some orange and brown and mix it up. I'm gonna put a little bit of this dark color in, and then I'm gonna clean my brush, and then I'm gonna re-outline the yellow, the darker yellow, and I'm gonna work on filling it in again, and then I'm gonna start blending in some of the darker color and really kind of fill in my sunflower here. Brush. Colors that I had in my palette. So my dark orange, light orange, my yellows, the brown color that I mixed with the orange and the brown. And I created streaks, and I basically blended those colors kind of the same way I did with the sky. So I started with the dark in the center, and then I made little streaks kind of going up, and then I took some of the orange and made little streaks, took some of the yellow, and I just played with it a little bit to kind of get this fun color design that I have here. Again, no right or wrong way to do it. If you wanted to keep it all yellow, that's perfectly fine. I really like playing with blending colors, and so hence that's why I did that. Take the dark brown that I have here, and I'm gonna just create a circle, and then I'm gonna create another circle with the dark brown. So I'm gonna do that now. Inner circle, I actually want a little bit darker. So what I'm gonna do for that is I'm going to take a little bit of my black, and I'm just gonna add a small drop, so not much, you can see just a small drop. I'm gonna put some of the chocolate brown over that. So you can see I pretty much covered that dot up. I'm gonna blend that well. Black takes over the color really fast. So you really don't need a lot of black when you're blending it with anything. It will take over very quickly. But now you can see I've got a darker brown here than I do here, which is what I was going for. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna blend that in the center. That's really what I was going for. Perfect. All right, well, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna let that dry, and then we are going to move on to just adding a little bit of details to the center there. gonna take my bright yellow and I made little dots inside the lighter brown. And then I've mixed some of the darker brown, it would have been my brown, with some yellow and just kind of made more of a muted yellow color. And I'm gonna take some of that and I'm gonna do dots in the center here. Whatever size makes you happy. No right or wrong way. All right, so I've got the lighter dots in the center on the dark brown. I've got the yellow dots on the outside. And then my last thing on the flower, what I want to do is I want to take the brown. I'm going to get a little bit more of this. I'm going to mix it with a little bit of this dark brown black that I created. So it's not quite so dark. A little bit more. Okay, so you can see it's darker than the brown, but it's not quite as dark as that one. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to do kind of big little blotches around the outside here. Almost like little circles. I'm going to connect them. Again, they don't need to be perfect. They can kind of be up and down a little bit. But I'm just going around the edge, softening this edge a little bit, blending it, so to speak, with these circles. And just lightly hand, you don't want to push too hard and bend your brush too much. Sunflower is complete. I finished that. So the last little detail, I'm going to do the ladybug. So I've got red. I'm going to put a little bit of red on here. And to make a ladybug, I'm also going to need a little bit of black. So make sure you have a little bit of black and a little bit of red on your palette here. Okay. And I'm going to take the red first. And I'm going to do kind of an N shape. So I'm going to go up and over. And then I'm going to fill that in with the red. So again, I just kind of did an N shape. Fill that in. Okay, so that's going to need to dry, and then we'll do a second coat just so it fills in and covers that blue. So then I'm going to dip my brush in the black. I just wiped it off on the napkin. I didn't even rinse it. And I'm just going to create a little circle. That'll be our ladybug's head. Alright, so the red is done. I'm going to add little antenna to the ladybug and little black nubs for feet. So, take my brush. Add some black on here. Get right up on here. There's my antenna. I'm just going to add little nubs for feet. And then as soon as the red is dry, I'm going to add the black dots in.